Hi everyone, good morning. This is Dan. Welcome to Engelgeist, my channel. For those of you that are new, welcome. For those of you that are returning, welcome back. For those of you that support me over on Patreon, thank you so very much for your subscriptions. This is an all signs daily forecast, so it's a general sort of like energy reading of kind of what's going on around us, what we're all could be dealing with, but we're all going to be dealing with it in different ways, right? You have to figure out if and where this video, this reading, where it fits in your life, if at all. If it doesn't fit, that's okay. It doesn't mean that anything's broken or wrong. You just might be working on something different at this time. For those of you that are new, I should say, first off, sorry. This is originally created for February 15th. It is not solely set for that date, though. If you're seeing this on a totally random, different date, and it still makes sense to how you're feeling, a situation you're dealing with, if it fits, by all means, utilize it to the best of your ability. Don't get caught up on the date of any of my readings. I believe that they are timeless. They find you when they need to. And then the other thing I was going to say is if you're new, please check out the drop-down menu. Sorry, I'm still a little stuffed up, so my voice sounds funny and I might be like stiffly and cough and stuff. Please check out the drop-down menu underneath any of my daily or weekly videos. In there's just some housekeeping rules, things I want you to think about when utilizing the channel, what decks I'm using in a particular reading. And easy ways to support the channel. The best ways to do that is hit that thumbs up button. It just lets YouTube know that you're enjoying the content. Subscribing to my channel is greatly appreciated. Hit the notification bell so you get notified. I do put up daily content. So sharing the video out with your friends and letting your friends know about me, and leaving me a question or comment if you have a question in regards to any of the things that I say. I greatly appreciate those. I will be referring back to the Sunday underpinning reading, which is the reading that I do Sunday for the week, which kind of underpins these cards that we then look at day to day throughout the week. So if you want to see that, that populates in the lower left-hand corner at the end of this video, so you can check that out too. Alright, so let's see what these cards want us to know today. Can I just tell you I'm super anxious? For those of you that watch regularly, you probably know why. I mean, not anxious in a bad way, just kind of like, oh my god. So I'm not going to even say, it's like Harry Potter, that which shall not be named. Let's see what card comes out. What does Spirit want us to know today? What are the energies around us today for February 15th? Or for those that are watching this video when they're watching it. Alright, that's like quite a few shuffles, guys. Let's see. Cut the deck. And we have, shut up! I'm completely dumbfounded. This is so bizarre. Like, the mathematical reasoning behind this card showing up this many times this quickly is like bizarre to me. Like, it's absolutely impossible. Alright, so this card, for those of you that are new, if you haven't been watching me regularly, this card has shown up, I would say now we're at like the 14th appearance in 15 days or something. I mean, or the 12th appearance in 15 days. It's shown up like a ton of times in the month of February, from the very beginning of February. I will say this is the card that the deck is named after, the Fountain, and I have been waiting to use this deck for ages. This card's meaning, or the word behind this card, is be. Just be, right? Like, and I was thinking about this last night too, in reference to this card, and you know how water kind of flows around a situation, it sort of moves with the situation rather than if any sort of obstruction or diversion gets into water's path, it finds another route around, right? And it does so with ease and grace. And when I think about this fountain, I think about the idea of water. I think about the idea of this comes from, you know, the meaning of this card, and I'll read it to you again in just a moment, is sort of like being connected to everything and nothing all at once, right? Understanding that there's a greater, grander scheme in all of this, even when we deal with the 3D day-to-day, you know, setbacks or even successes. that all of this we're like kind of interconnected to in a way that goes deeper and beyond what we experience maybe in the physical, mental, or 3D world, right? We feel that more so emotionally, and we can sometimes tap into that spiritually. And I feel like the Fountain card is here trying to remind us maybe we're supposed to be taking February inward to this place of spiritually connecting to our lives in a different way to sort of set the tone for the things that are to emerge maybe in not only just February but the year to come. Like, I feel like this card is driving home to us to kind of sit back, relax, not take action per se, but become like a spectator in the world that is going on around us. And instead of trying to control it or change it, push it, manipulate it, achieve a certain outcome, it's about sort of just connecting to it and allowing it to inform us, not of who we are or what we need to be, but in a way informing us from a bigger perspective or a higher self perspective that allows us to connect in ways that to me feel more free, more almost like there's this cosmic feeling that I get from this card that feels almost like a detachment. Like, I don't know if we're supposed to be practicing spiritual detachment this month, and the Fountain is trying to tell us that by understanding that, yes, we're connected in the 3D, but we're also connected mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually to situations, people, relationships, jobs, money, sex, whatever it is we're dealing with, right? But there's also a higher perspective that's to be had in all of this. And when we glean that light or that connection, that understanding, we expand in such a way that situations can almost transform within themselves, right? Or at least our relationship to the situation or whatever it is we're looking at can transform into something that is, I feel, freer, lighter, more detached in a sense. Like, to me, I'm getting this very almost like, how the Buddhist monks are so detached to the material and to the outcomes and to, what goes on in the world. It's just all part of the process. And I think that's what the Fountain is trying to teach us, is that whatever's going on in our world, um, yes, it's going on. Yes, it may be painful, or yes, it may be pleasurable. Yes, it may be this or that, or oh, there's my alarm again. Yes, it may be this or that or whatever, but it's ultimately, there's a way for us to connect in from a higher, more fluid place that allows us to move through these situations with a grace, an ease, a knowing, a wisdom that is quite powerful. And it's up to us to not only tap into that, but to also allow it to kind of emerge and pour forward into everything we do. I don't know if any of you follow the teachings of Abraham Hicks, but to me, this reminds me of like how Abraham Hicks says, get into the flow, into your vortex. What is it that you're creating? How is it that you're feeling about these creations? This card sort of reminds us to go back to creation and our connection to that creation, the universal creation, the energy of manifestation, the energy of spirit, and understand that we have a valid role or part that we play in that is actually rather powerful. And so we may be seeing this card a lot because we're all trying to access this and we're not realizing that it's there and available to us. I don't think that this card is a bad card. I think that it's reminding us that at a higher level, we have so much more information, so much more ability, so much more adaptability within some of the situations we may be dealing with in our day to day, whether they be good or bad, to transform them, to, I don't want to say solve them, but because I don't get that feeling from this, it's more about to adapt within them so that they don't stop us, slow us down, hinder us, or, it's about just being, not um, holding on to outcomes or fighting for like our opinions or our point of view. It's about almost offering ourselves like a sense of freedom while amidst whatever it is that we're dealing with. I hope that makes sense. Now, here's the next card. It's activating the third eye. There's purple in the purple of the fountain. Definitely a spiritual card. This is also, I'm going to read it to you. And then the next card, just because I like to show them to you, is expanding your inner power. That's the expansion of this light that's coming. And thank God, maybe we're finally going to tap into this and expand it out. And I'm not saying that for my viewers only. Maybe I need to do this too. And then that way this card will stop showing up. But it's certainly trying to tell us that there's a bigger picture here or a broader perspective that we need to tap into or can tap into that offers us a feeling of interconnectedness. We've also been seeing a lot of cards this month about feeling safe in our bodies, and I think that this fountain provides us with that safety once we connect to it spiritually. But this may not be our normal form of how we connect in our day-to-day world, right? It says, I am willing to see beyond my beliefs, ideas, and conclusions. And what I was saying about this or just a minute ago is this is about looking at things or connecting to things with a higher perspective, maybe not in a what's the word, in a familiar way that we normally would, right? Like I get this sense that if we can attain this fountain card, buttons are pushed less for us. Freedom is attained. Fresh perspective is attained. A flow, an ease, a grace, even maybe a joy or a happiness, humor could be attained in a situation that normally would have totally gotten our goat and pissed us off. We might be able to be like, oh, really? Oh, ah, ha, 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 and like laugh it off and just let it flow away from us. I'm going to reread the fountain to you. I've read it to you a couple of times, but I just want to reread it again. The fountain exists outside and beyond the cycles of birth, death, time, and form. It is the nameless, changeless source of which everything is a part. It is the waking from the dream of separateness and identity, and the recognition of oneself as not only connected to all things, but all things. Divine nature. So this is about finding our own divine nature and connection within ourselves and then thus to all things around us. When the fountain appears in your reading, relinquish all illusion of control and remain quiet. It invites you to observe, masterless, and to just be, effortless and indistinguishable from life. You are the voice and the breath of the universes. So in other words, like it's like a detachment while keeping our attention present, right? Staying in the present moment, not slipping into the past, not slipping into worrying about the future, no shame over the past, but being in the present moment and finding like a higher connection to whatever it is we're dealing with, be it positive or negative. The meaning is oneness, a moment of cosmic clarity, fully awake, the end of seeking, enlightened being, surrender to that which you are, whole and perfect. The reversed meaning, and I'm just going to read this because I think some of us may be caught in the reversed, and it's reminding us to kind of come forward or upright ourselves. Identification with a role or personality, fear of being alone, a mind obsessed, separation from source, resistance to or denial of reality. But see, I think with the cosmic nature of this fountain card, when we tap into this, the reality or our connection to it changes, thus, therefore, changing our not only our connection, but our perception of what the reality is, if that makes sense. Now, let me read you activating the third eye, because this is all about the sixth chakra, which is our intuition. Excuse me for sucking on my nose there. All right. I am willing to see beyond my beliefs, ideas, and conclusions. As your third eye opens, you are able to notice how each moment is a catalyst for your ever-expanding soul. That's the expansion that's in this fountain. Through your third eye, you will be able to move more clearly, see the lessons each moment offers, allowing every encounter to help you become an even more radiant expression of your highest potential. This mantra is ideal for dissolving personal judgments, developing more patience, and tempering inner conflict. This is about becoming, just being and becoming at peace with wherever and whatever a situation, person, relationship, whatever we're dealing with is, and allowing ourselves to just be at our highest place while dealing with it. Let's go to the clarifiers. We have the Tower. Oh, great. We've seen Death a few times. Now we have the Tower. We have the Queen of Cups. I'm just going to fly through these really quick. And we have the Five of Cups. So what I'm going to say about this is the Tower oftentimes is a situation, like I said this, I believe, in yesterday's reading about this let go or be dragged nature about the fountain, right? This idea of just being, allowing everything around us to be. Now, the Tower represents something built on faulty foundations that's falling apart. It is major arcana. It is a big shift, change, sometimes, and well, oftentimes scary, because it's usually something that's outside of our control, something that we expected to stay a certain way for a rather long period of time, and we were unable to maybe keep it that way, or we may be in resistance to letting it go, in fear of, oh my God, if this falls apart, what will be left in its wake? And the truth is nature abhors a vacuum. Generally, with Tower moments, in my opinion, whatever is falling away needs to fall away so that something new, more stable, more in alignment with us can be replaced in that space of our life. So if we find ourselves like shifting jobs, careers, relationships, friendships changing, familial relationship communication becoming tough, hard, or otherwise, something new is going to transform in that space, right? The Queen of Cups, to me, she's about nurturing our emotional self, caring for ourselves, placing ourselves first, trusting our own inner emotional judgment and barometer of that. The Five of Cups is about giving yourself time to, and I'm saying this in this particular reading, I feel like the Five of Cups, I always say this too, fives are transitory, so this is not going to hang on for a long time. But this is about honoring ourselves, especially with the Queen of Cups being present, honoring ourselves with the option or the ability to sort of grieve, right? Not all is lost with the Five of Cups. There's often this, interpretation of him only paying attention to what he's lost, the three cups in front of him, not seeing the two cups behind him or the river that he can fill his cups back up with. There's also a castle in the foreground and a bridge, meaning there's still journey to be had. He just doesn't see that right now because in the moment he's feeling heartbroken, let down, at a loss. I think with the Queen of Cups here, she's asking us to take a moment, honor your feelings. Honor your feelings around the destruction of whatever or the loss of whatever it is that took place that maybe shifted, changed, or disappeared altogether. But also then remind yourself to care for yourself, hold yourself, dearly, closely, nurture yourself through this time. Allow yourself to feel the present moment pain and then allow that to kind of transition. The whole while being in the moment, understanding that we are connected to these situations in such a way that whether they feel pleasant to us or not, they are meant to happen for a reason, right? They're meant to, what's the word I'm looking for? Like, it's almost like they're meant, even if they're unpleasant, they're meant to teach us how to connect to them, rise above them, walk through them, rather than fight them. It's funny, I've been pulling like divine feminine cards for myself lately at night before bed. And the card that I got the other night was Ariadne, and the phrase for it was, the only way out is through. And I feel like that's what this meaning is if there is some pain, some sadness, some remorse that you need to feel, allow yourself to feel it. Allow yourself to see the magnitude of the tower or the fall apart. But don't allow yourself to be swayed into the fear or the worry of it all and scramble to try and fix something that maybe wasn't ours to be had to begin with, right? Um, it it's about, again, with that activating the third eye, the phrase is, I am willing to see beyond my beliefs, ideas, and conclusions. But we may need to feel our way through the sadness first to be able to get to that space. Now let's go to the grounding stone. Okay. And let me see, I just want to see, what was the midweek card? Because I know the beginning of the week card was the fountain. The midweek is the Nine of Swords. So there is some stress here, certainly for some of you, because Nine of Swords would be about mental anguish, nightmares, fears, worries, that sort of a thing underpinning this. And with the Tower there, it does make me feel like something's afoot, or we've dealt with something pretty, not horrific, but unsettling to say the least. The Queen and the Five say to me, take the time that you need to heal, to emotionally connect into yourself, honor those emotions, and then prepare yourself to transition away from them. And, you know, beyond your conclusions, listening to your intuition of the third eye, listening to the truth of your spirit within the fountain, and tapping into the strength. You know, this is where the grounding stone comes in. We're stronger than we think we are. We're more resilient than we think we are. These situations, yes, they may hurt us or cause us setbacks or pain, but ultimately they will not kill us, right? And so we have strength as a resource to ground in today, our own personal strength, and that should be able to see us through our own emotional strength, but we need to honor ourselves and give ourselves the space to heal during this time. Remember, the underpinning stone for the week is spirit. So connecting to our own spirit this week is key, and listening to that voice is going to be key because it's closely tied to the emotional voice too. That is your reading today. I hope it makes sense. Please tune in tomorrow so we can all look at the same card again. I'm just kidding. Please like the video, share the video out, leave me a question or comment. Subscribe to the channel, and I swear to God there are more cards in this deck other than this card. I love you all and take care. Have a wonderful day. All right, bye-bye.